One. Hello, everybody. What's up, NPCs? How are we doing?
What's up, scrubs?
We have a cool guest this week. Thick with a motherfucking Q. You don't really need an introduction. Everybody knows you. Would you like to introduce yourself anyways?
I'm Thick with a Q. Sorry, I'm not a girl. Because apparently that's a fucking thing. I'd like to thank Scott and Price. Just making sure. I was about to call you Bucky for a second there. I'd like to thank Scott and Bucky.
That's my new nickname. People are going to latch onto that now.
I hope so. It's a nice name.
It's okay. We've had people that have joined the call before, and they've not even known I was going to be there.
Oh,
they've been very confused about who I was.
Mom, I threw up.
And I'm like, oh.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
We've also had people join the call and think that we were going to be girls before, too.
That is true, yes.
They thought you were Lucia.
Lucia is a self-insert, actually. Can't you see I look exactly like her?
Oh yeah, totally. Do you have a pet crab, too?
I don't. I just have a dog that's a big, stupid idiot.
Dog crab, same thing.
I should get him a crab costume for Halloween.
If we can wear it.
That would be great. This is very NSFW Echo Saber. So what are you drawing today, Billy?
since apparently I can't draw what I typically draw because it's on Twitch, thanks Scott for letting me know like an hour beforehand. I'm just working on an SFWOC of mine that some people were asking for on the other side. So those who are aware of my SFW account know that there's this little story going on. So there's actually one of the characters who used to be or who is an antagonist, but we're trying to do like, what if she's a good guy kind of thing. So
I see. Yeah, I thought Bryce had asked me. It was like, does he know he needs to draw safe for work for Twitch? And I was
actually,
like, yeah,
record,
of course he does.
No,
but I was talking.
This.
Yeah,
no,
of course I
like
do.
2 days ago, I was like, please, Scott, listen to me. Make sure you mention to them that we're on Twitch, so they can't draw like cum pouring out of someone's asshole. Like just
why
can you do that
a
for
huge Ford on a sauce then?
and then like 10 minutes we're live. I'm like, hey Scott, did you do that? And he goes, oh yeah, I did like an hour ago. They sent me like a thing of Lucia getting fucked, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? We've been over this.
I was gonna draw that on stream too. I was gonna make you a present.
We have this problem where Scott is the one that has to deal with everybody because he's the one that has more clout than me. But I'm like the adult, so I'm the one that has to keep him in check.
Yeah, the PR manager, and Scott's the president.
Basically,
but it's more like you're holding the leash, and there's a spasming dog at the end.
That's me. So you've never been on Twitch before, right?
Well, not stream-wise. I've watched some people on it occasionally.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be live? Everyone watching you, waiting to hear what you have to say.
Let's see. I'm trying to run through a list of things that I need to say to make sure I don't get canceled, but also trying to run through a list of things to make sure that you guys don't get banned as well. So there's that.
To be fair, I think
pressure.
At least in terms of getting canceled, with what you draw, I think you've survived the wave. I think you're.
Oh yeah.
I was saying one of the things, like, it's just like you out of everyone else, I feel like can get away with things that other people, I'm not gonna say can't, maybe are too afraid of, but like, you know, you'll just draw like a girl with like literally like Arceus's dick. You'll draw like you'll draw NTR, you'll draw like brother sister, and like it like no one bats an eye. You're like the one person that has escaped.
See,
I mean, I'm sure you've not like
a lot
escaped
of people
it. I'm
bat
sure
eyes actually.
I was gonna say I'm sure you get people backfiring, but I'm saying in terms of like your success, like it's not like you're still growing and able to do these kind of things instead of just being like shut down immediately for trying to do those kind of things.
Thankfully, maybe it helps that I only started like going full demon time after I hit like a certain follower count. So I was like, oh yeah, at that point there's so many people who are just in this for the ride now that the ones who object either get shot down or just fade into like the mass of voices and shit. So
it's like a Trojan horse attack. You got him thinking you were a normal account.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I on one hand, I kind of feel bad, or I used to feel bad, because occasionally I still get people going like, oh, I miss when you used to draw like wholesome stuff.
I miss the old ThiccWithaQ.
The old ThiccWithaQ. And I'm just here like, I was always like this. I was just bidding my time.
Well, before we went live, we were talking about like your growth and your success and everything, and I think part of the reason is because you draw a lot of things that there's not as much of a mainstream market for, or as much of like you don't see most Twitter accounts with follower accounts like you and like a presence like you that are drawing the things that you draw, you know. And so I think that is a big thing, like for a lot of people, is just I don't know.
Hey, that's what draws them in.
Yeah, I'm not even saying I'm not saying like just that, but I'm saying I think that's definitely a thing that works a lot in your favor in a really good way. And I think it's also just how lax you are about it. Your attitude towards it as a whole.
Well, I guess humility pays off sometimes.
Also, your art style is iconic, Scrub says.
Hey, thank you.
So how long have you been doing this?
Art or
art as a whole.
Yeah. Since I was like 5, but I only started getting serious when I was like 16, back when I was in my A levels in college. So I was initially studying to be a computer engineer of all the things, and then
but not anymore.
Definitely not anymore. I suck at coding for one thing. So yeah, I'd always just doodle in the back of like my textbooks and shit while the old guy would drone on about Visual Basic or C++ or something like that. And then eventually I used to write fan fiction. There's like very little known info, so get ready for lore. But I used to write fan fiction, and I used to be kind of popular for it too.
Really?
But yeah, but I don't tell people like who I was back then, because I look at the old stuff that I used to write and I'm like, oh god, that's so cringy. But yeah, eventually people would ask like, oh, I want to see like some of these scenarios visually and whatnot. So I got myself a tablet and then started drawing those out on DeviantArt. And then yeah, just got into art proper from there.
How long would you say it took you to find like some semblance of the success that you have now?
Honestly, I would just say the length of time that it took to have this account, I guess. I started, I made it in April of 2019, on the 14th specifically. And initially, it was just to fuck around, to be age. I don't even know why I really made it, but I just wanted to draw some lewd fan art for Meru, because that was my very first post. And Meru was pretty big at the time and active, so she would always retweet fan art and stuff. So I guess she liked it enough that she retweeted it, and almost instantly it just caught like wildfire. And it was just upward trajectory from there. By the end of that year, I think I already had like 60K followers, and then it just exploded from there. After I did that one NTR comic in 2020. Oh god.
Yeah, it happens really quick, and that's what I always tell people when they ask me about like growing their following and stuff like that. It's just it happens really all at once.
Yeah.
Just all this, it's like a switch flicks and it just happens, you know?
Yeah, like you just need that one thing, I guess, that hits, or that one spark, and then it just catches like wildfire from there. So occasionally I get people also asking the same thing, like, oh yeah, how do you grow on Twitter? How do you reach this level and stuff? And I think it also helps because I was also posting every day. I pretty much have the same consistency back then as I do now, if not a little more now, because I have a like backlog of stuff. So
right.
Yeah, posting every day and then drawing a combination of mainstream stuff and some pretty niche shit that people don't expect but end up liking somehow. How about you guys? How did you start off?
Naruto. Really like Naruto. Really big high school fans of Naruto.
I like Naruto too, so it's cool.
We started out just wanting to just make comic books, and then we pretty quickly realized, like, wow, it's really hard to make money off of doing comic books. And
at least back then, Webtoon didn't exist. When you started, I imagine.
Yeah, it definitely. And so we were like, okay, this is pretty hard, and so we were just sort of grinding away at it in the background, and I was learning how to draw a little bit and finishing high school and whatnot. And then by we started our webcomic, and actually it was like when Webtoons was picking up, we started the Panty Bear, which is what Lucy is from. And it like wasn't super popular. It was okay, but like it wasn't paying the bills or anything,
Yeah.
And we had a little Patreon for it. And so, it had like maybe it's like maybe $100 a month or something. Like not bad for people that hadn't really made serious money off of their work before, but like it's not not going to pay the bills or anything. But then because I didn't post on Twitter really at all at that time. I would just maybe post like once every other month. I would post something. And then like I posted one drawing and it did pretty well. It got like 5,000 or 6,000 likes, which for me at the time I had like 1,200 followers. I was like, whoa, this is in like 2020.
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And then I started doing it, and I started really paying attention to what did and didn't do well on there.
Oh, okay.
And I just through iteration, I figured out the sort of post sheet format that I started doing.
I see.
And I just kept doing it, and I think I ended 2020 with about 20,000 followers, because it was really the second half of the year that I started to pick up. And I think I ended last year with like 250,000.
Yeah, something.
So over 200,000 in a year.
You literally, I remember it very vividly. At the start of December, you had like 3,000 followers of like 2020 or whatever. And I remember you hit 10,000 because of the gray like underwear post with Lucia, like the first ever post sheet. And then by the end of it, you were at like 25,000 because you were like celebrating like the 10K one with the drawing, and you were already at like 17K or something.
Wow.
It was literally like we went from making, I remember we were making like no money and anything, and we were making like 100 off the Patreon, like, which again is nice, but it's also split between 2 people, so it especially wasn't paying the bills. And then by the end of that month we were making like 700-800. And then it was just like kept going from there, and like it quickly spiraled into us being able to like live off of our work. But before that, we were just writing and drawing every single day, just making a lot of comics that nobody ever read.
Out of curiosity, it sounds like you guys were a duo for quite a while. So was it like one person handles the writing of the comics and the other person does the drawing kind of thing?
Yeah, so
it was you go, Bryce.
And then just got like kicked off from there.
So we basically started to get like we started writing and drawing at the same time. So I'm just a writer, and we were in high school and we liked anime and manga a lot. So
nice, a partnership.
Yeah, so we basically were just like, Scott could already draw a little bit, like he had been kind of drawing since he was a kid, and I really loved reading. And so it was just kind of like, you learn how to write and I'll learn how to draw, and we'll start making comics. And it just kind of spiraled from there. We just like both fell in love. Now, when we make a comic, Scott and I plot it all together. Like we come up with the story fully together, but the actual writing is just like I'm the one that writes all the scripts and everything.
That's neat.
Yo, thank you for the raid, Mizzus, with 121. Thank you so much. Welcome, Raiders.
Hype. Let's go.
Hello.
We have ThiccWithaQ here. The GOAT.
Hello. Congrats on that.
Also,
I don't know what that means.
It just means basically somebody ended stream and they sent their whole chat over here.
Oh, nice.
So like 100 extra people just joined the.
Hey.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mises.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
But
we stopped streaming for a long time just because it was just sort of a thing we started for fun, and we're really tryhards, so we just did it a lot for a long time, and like eventually we got partner. Well, actually, like one morning we decided pretty much to stop streaming because we were like, we're tired, and like we do it a lot, and we just sort of fell out of love with it a little bit, and then we stopped, we made that decision, and then the next day we were going to do our last stream, and we got partnered that morning on Twitch. So we were like, you know what? Let's stick to it, man. Let's do this streaming thing. And we did it one more day, and we were like, nah, we still want to quit. So we quit the next day, and we just came back yesterday.
Yeah, after like a 3-4 month hiatus. Yeah, literally our last 2 streams before this were called "We Got Partnered. Let's fucking go," and then hiatus. I actually think we named the very last stream. It was like hiatus. Have you heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy 14? Like it had some really fucking stupid title like that.
And good advertising for FF14.
But we just started streaming because we wanted something to like. It's really fun having an audience and getting like we like one of our favorite things is in the Discord getting to like have all these people that like us, but also getting to directly interact with a lot of them.
Okay.
It's very cool. Like when Scott posts something, and it's not like Twitter. It's like you can very directly, immediately interact with those people and how they respond to your post and stuff like that. And so this is just kind of
that way.
This is kind of like an extension of that, except they can't talk. We have all the power. They are
you have the power. You don't get drowned out.
But no, this is like that's why this was so much fun to us. But yeah, we were doing 3 days a week of it, like 3 hours a stream, and we just kind of burned ourselves out.
Yeah, I can see why.
Also, Feline highlights his message and asks the question. Question for all three peeps. What would be the main do's and don'ts of tryharding to become a popular artist?
Number one, shell like crazy. If you're looking for numbers, just draw like all the mainstream waifus out there or something, regardless of whether it's SFW or NSFW, and then get good, I guess. Sounds like really harsh, but ultimately people still flock to if the art appeals to them or not. So just make sure you have a strong foundation in your art, and then just go to town on some waifus here and there. And also draw like fan art of OCs for popular artists already, because that at least guarantees a retweet, which is really helpful when you want to grow. So yeah, just draw more Lucias. That works.
There you go. I tell people that. I'm like, they're like, how do I get you to retweet me? I'm like, draw my character.
Draw my character.
And don't feel guilty about it. It's not. It doesn't make it like any worse.
You draw Lucia. So I receive Lucia, and you receive a retweet that gives you like, I don't know, 500 plus followers or something.
There you go. Yeah, I think that it's maybe the number one thing is just draw a lot. That really helps with everything. Just like it makes you better. And you have to pay attention when you draw. You know, like I said, I developed the post sheet format just by drawing a lot and posting a lot and seeing like, okay, if I put multiple Lucias, if I put multiple Lucias, the post does better. Like, what if I put all the different Lucias in different outfits? Oh, that doesn't work as well. What if they're all in the same outfit? I'm like, okay, that works really well. What if I make like really cool outfits and get better at outfit design? Oh, that works even better. And you just keep going like that, and you sort of figure it out. Just see what works, see what doesn't work, and have a good time. And I think also, like I said earlier, it happens really quick. Like it's just like a switch flips. And all of a sudden, your posts go from getting a few hundred likes to tens of thousands, pretty much immediately. I mean, I've seen it happen to a lot of people. Like it's just right away, and you just got to keep it going because you're gonna have ups and downs unless you're
gonna have like slow days. I get slow days too. You guys, come on.
But you're gonna have periods where maybe your posts stop doing as well, and then you gotta like look and figure out like, okay, what did I do different in these? What can I go back and it's like anything, art's a journey. You're gonna have your art start. I know, like if I go back and I look month by month, I'll see my art get better and worse in some aspects as I start changing around the style a little bit. And I'll be like, I used to do this a little bit better. You just got to keep being analytical with yourself.
Yeah, don't just draw wildly, but like actually pay attention to what you're doing. It's just like when they say, oh yeah, if you want to practice, just draw a lot. You can. That works too, but you won't really learn as you're going along unless you're paying attention to, oh yeah, I have to do this to get this result, and I have to draw this way to make it look like this and whatnot. So it's, same principle when it comes to growing. Just find what works. Make it, if you're super organized like Skull over here, make that posting timetable.
Yeah, spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet. God, you're the only person that I know who actually made a spreadsheet.
Scott has a spreadsheet for everything.
I have a spreadsheet for every movie that my girlfriend and I watch, and we rate them.
Oh, wow.
I also do, to be fair, because of him. He convinced me to do it.
It's pretty cool. I have one for albums, like music albums that I rate. Not for anybody else. I don't show them, but it's just for me.
Feline said, so would you say it's more important to draw what gives you the views than drawing your own brand? My personal objective is to get big mostly through only my own original content.
let's see. You can do that, but it would be a lot more if you're looking for numbers, if you're looking for like quick growth. What I would recommend is doing fan art first, and then like occasionally like slicing your OC content in between, then gradually phasing the fan art out, and then just going completely into OCs, because that's what I do with my say for work account as well. It's pretty much like all OCs there at that point, but I initially started off drawing Pokemon fan art and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's possible to do it without drawing fan art. I did it.
I just
but
think it might
you
be
have
a
to
little
have
hard.
more. You have to have more luck, I think.
Yeah, luck is definitely So wait, during your time on Twitter, did you ever like draw fan art for like I don't know, a series or another artist or something like that got you, or is it just completely Lucia, so off the skin of or off the back of Lucia that got you where you are?
I had one fan art that did well, and that was basically it. I drew I can't remember her name. I didn't even watch the show. Michiru from
from
Brand New Animal. Yeah, I like I said, I've not even seen the show, but I really liked her design. So I drew that, and that got about 10,000 likes, which is the most I had gotten at the time. And I was like, whoa, that's great. So that sort of gave me a little bit of that got me to like 2,000 followers. And then after that, I just started drawing Lucia more, and I didn't care a lot about likes at the time. And this is where I kind of got lucky. Like I was just drawing her because it's fun. Like she's what I like drawing. And I eventually, like, Rakeem actually found my account when I was very small and just started throwing retweets at me constantly.
I see.
And he really boosted my account early on, and that helped a lot. That's part of the luck. But yeah, really after I mean, I didn't draw other fan art like, oh, I need to draw more fan art to get popular. Like I just kept drawing and doing the stuff I liked. I don't know if I would, because I think that if you just draw the stuff that you like, eventually people will find you. It just might take a little bit longer, but if you're just trying to really try hard it, like Feline said, and get where you want to go, Billy's way might be a little faster and just draw some fan art and get out there. But it honestly, like, skill is a huge part of it. Like if you're not good, then you won't like you're not going to get a lot of followers.
Well, that's just one of those hard
because
truths.
I still see like some artists, especially the ones on the either Japanese or Chinese side, who only have like, let's say 2K followers max, but every post that they like upload gets, I don't know, 80K or something, because it's just these masterful works of art and stuff with really good lighting and composition and whatnot. So ultimately, I've gotten a little I guess it's a thing that happens when you get big enough, but you kind of get a little disillusioned with the whole numbers game and whatnot, because at that point it almost feels like you could draw a stick figure and put it up and it'll get like 10K likes or something like that. So at the same time, it's still down to algorithm. That's something that I learned, because you can see some people who post something and it'll bang, and yet they still want to have like, I don't know, 100K followers or something. So yeah, ultimately for me, I tend to pay more attention to comments, because I grew up in the DA atmosphere, the DeviantArt atmosphere. So, and that was what I was used to. So regardless of like number of likes, so long as I saw what people actually thought about my work, that was enough for me. I guess that's what kept me like just chugging along. So I went off on a tangent there.
No, you're all right. Yeah, the algorithm, I got really lucky. I would actually say my numbers are a little bit worse now than when I first started getting really popular. Because part of the reason that the post sheet format did so well in the beginning was it was before they fixed the crop on mobile. And it would only display your full image if it was 16:9, like if it was wallpaper size. So I would do these post sheets where it was 16 by 9. So if you're scrolling, you see the whole image, and really nobody else was doing every post is just 16 by 9. And so my post would really stand out from a lot of other people. And
all right, what's funny? What's Bryce laughing at?
Oh, nothing. Nothing.
No, we're good.
Watch what folders you pull up. And
oh gosh.
What?
We're good. I caught it quick.
What did you see?
Just a lot of porn. Just copious amounts.
That was my reference folder.
Oh yeah, I could tell. The moment I saw it said reference, my eyes like bulged out of my head, and I like jumped up.
Okay, first of all, I hope that doesn't get
we'll be fine.
That doesn't get you dinged.
We'll be fine.
Hopefully, it was just a brief second. Anyways,
what were we talking about?
Well,
I don't remember.
Oh god. Yeah, whatever. Draw a lot. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Iega did the same thing on his stream, and he was fine.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, basically just draw a lot. Oh, I remember what I was saying. Yeah, I was the only one really doing that format where you could see it without any crop at all. And then they updated Twitter where they fixed it and everybody got that. So I kind of lost that advantage a little bit. I think that's where some of the traffic went.
I see.
You know, you do what you can. I mean, I still do, well. I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah, you still do well.
I'm not going to pretend
whenever you post, I always see your stuff on my TL for like a good couple of hours. So everyone loves the crab.
I will say the biggest boost that I ever got was from the strip game.
Oh yeah, it feels like you're the one who started the trend, because as soon as you did it, I was just seeing a lot of other people do it too.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing that when I first drew it, I was like, this seems like the kind of thing that art Twitter would love. So I knew that it might become a trend. I didn't know for sure. It
was interactive. So I think that's what they enjoy.
It also, it completely destroys the algorithm. Like the first week I did the strip game, I gained almost 60,000 followers in 1 week.
Oh.
So the reason everybody started doing it was because they seen that and they were really paying attention to that. And so I did it, and then I got like Noodle and Echo and a couple other people to start doing it. And then when they started also doing it, like everyone started noticing, because it also did the same thing to their numbers. And everybody just sort of started doing it after that. And it got really, every time I do one, it kind of comes back in style for a little bit. So it's still going. We just had another wave there was a bunch of them.
Wow.
There's that cosplay one going on right now.
Yeah, someone did a fucking cosplay.
Someone actually cosplayed Lucia?
Yeah, and it's really good. Like the cosplay is really good.
That's nice.
I'll pull it up.
They cosplayed like a specific outfit of hers too. Like they did a ThiccWithaQ outfit. Like it wasn't just like a. Yeah, somebody said Dashy. That's somebody else who grew a lot from just in general, but also the strip game.
It's always nice watching some new draws grow. Like the ones that who started off either smaller. I guess this sounds so condescending, but I'd say the ones that started out smaller than you.
Well, it's cool when you see someone's hard work pay off.
Yeah, it really does pay off. Especially
Scrub just said Ty Keep. I was gonna say Ty Keep is in our chat right now. He is man's always grinding, always posting Twitter posts and fucking blowing up because of it. He deserves all the success. It's so cool when you see people that are just non-stop grinding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is fucking
because you can actually see them actively getting better with each post too. Especially Iega, he was the biggest example of that. Because sometimes, or at least way back in 2020, he used to we used to talk on DMs about, how to get better at art and whatnot. And it's just really nice seeing how far he's come. And then a couple of other mutuals I know as well who just kept on that grind. So that's proof that, just drawing with a purpose really does help.
So I had a question.
Is great.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'll talk about this. Aega's great. He's such a grinder. Like, I remember one time he invited me into like this secret covert operation with other people, and he's like, all right, we're gonna do figure drawing once a week or 3 times a week or whatever, and it has like these figure drawing sessions, the screen. It was like super hardcore.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty cool. I really respect him. He works hard. He's been on the stream a few times.
Yeah, he anytime
always educational.
He's messaged me and asked me like about certain things, and like dude just wants to get better constantly.
He does. You can actually tell from like his work ethic and just the way he acts and the way he draws even.
He's also one of those people that when you give him advice, like he'll take it and he'll
take it to heart.
Yeah, and like he'll come back and he'll give you something. He'll be like, okay, I took your advice and did this, and it'll be something that's like way exceeded like what it's like so much better. It's like one of those things.
Right.
Like, early on in our career, Scott and I were told by somebody like when someone gives you like especially like someone in the industry, like if an editor or an agent gives you advice, don't do their advice, blow them away. Like don't just do exactly what they said, but take their advice and use it to blow them away. And that's something Scott and I have always tried to do. And Aega is one of those people that if you give him advice on anything, I feel like anytime he comes back, it's like he's like, you busted his ass. And he's very self-aware of himself and like where he's at and everything. He's just a really cool dude. He's really honest.
He is.
He's one of those dudes that how he acts on Twitter and stuff is exactly how he is.
How he is.
He is very down to earth, very easy to talk to, very cool. Tykeep said he's never met him. Tykeep, you need to DM Aega. I feel like you two would get along a lot. He's super nice.
Yeah.
But my
Aega's
question...
a super great guy, good person, great artist. I'd never tell him that to his face. Great guy.
Let him get a big head.
But so you said that you started off doing fan fiction and stuff. And I've noticed a lot through a lot of your Twitter posts, obviously, that you incorporate a lot of stories and specifically dialogue and stuff like that into it.
Follow me into like that. So,
so
like the current one that I'm on right now has a bit of a storyline going. Yeah.
Do you have much interest? Like, would you consider yourself a writer, or do you have much interest in?
No.
Okay, so do you have much interest in? Like, I know you've done like some like longer form things. Like, didn't you did a thing
like
a while
back,
comics right?
And whatnot.
Yeah. Do you have an interest in doing longer things or doing more of those, or is that just something you just kind of do for fun and you just consider yourself primarily a just like a single artist?
I do actually want to go into like longer form things. It's more just a combination of time and motivation, I suppose. But it's actually a dream of mine to like make my own comic series and stuff. SFW primarily, but and that's what the OCs that I've just been grinding out for, just basically practice for when I eventually do get into something more long term. So I have like a veritable backlog of characters or archetypes that I've already practiced with to pick from. But I honestly do not consider myself that good of a writer, at least not yet or not now, because I definitely know that I have a long way to go in like dialogue choices, story choices, and whatnot. So. And once again, I look at my the old fan fiction stories, and sure, I can improve on them, but at the same time, just that cringe follows me years later.
That's how I feel when I read my old stuff too. I think everyone has that.
Yeah, it's that fear of embarrassment, that if I write this, how does it sound to other people and whatnot, or how they read it, or how they interpret it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, do you feel like you have more of a struggle with that as somebody with already a big following and fans?
Yeah, because now you have more people to disappoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough,
definitely.
Right?
So yeah, that's just something at the back of my mind. For a time, I actually just used to scrap dialogue completely from my works. That's why the Spy X Family comic that I did back in, at the end of May is primarily silent because I didn't feel like whatever I was trying to convey would be up to snuff. So I just made it a silent comic up until the twist at the end. So not much of a twist if you already know like the manga and whatnot, but still.
Yeah, like I said, I asked because I feel like you doing the dialogue and doing it so heavily is one of the things that I feel like is a big part of your style.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
People mostly kind of know me for incorporating some sort of story element into things. So the dialogue definitely helps.
Yeah, because I was going to say
specifically, or not is subjective, but
as like a fan of your work, it's one of the things that I've always found the most compelling because it's easier to, even if it's just like a one panel thing and it's just like two word bubbles, it is easier to be engrossed or find like have something grab your attention if it's just that over just like a standard image.
True.
And
because
so I've always thought that's
engage the brain
and it's the fact that it's not typically, at least doesn't feel like it, it's not just like a throwaway thing that you do. And from the way you talk about it, it sounds like you care a lot about the dialogue you put in to those things.
Yeah, I like the story elements to things. It brings depth to some stuff. It's easy, of course, to just draw something and just put in, I don't know, stock footage, moans and whatnot, but sometimes it's just nice to have like a little story going on, give a motivation for why the character is getting railed by a giant horse stick and not just getting down to the meat of things.
Scrub had a question for you. He said, I found you over your simpage towards a certain purple-haired Genshin girl. I was curious about your animations and how long they usually take.
Oh, let's see. That one in particular took me a day to do because I hadn't like 2D animated in ages. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually used to be an animator like as a day job kind of thing. So I only recently now you do. I only recently decided to just go full time with this. For a little bit, just to test the waters. If things don't work out, then I'll just go back to my typical boring studio jobs. So it was more 3D though. So I can say it now, but I used to do like stuff for Paw Patrol and the occasional Disney movie and whatnot. But
really?
Yeah. Oh shit, you don't know. I used to work for Disney. Now you don't. There it is.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either.
Did you guys see Turning Red?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now you know who was part of it.
Jesus Christ. That's fucking sick.
We're dropping bombs on the stream.
I was gonna say.
Hey. I hope no one like rings up Domarine or something and goes, hey, did you know that one of your animators was what is fucking... Oh, God.
Are you telling me your account's not child-friendly?
Yeah, it totally is child-friendly. Let me just hide the recent pic of a Genshin girl, like, raping some massive villager.
Don't open your reference folder.
Yeah, just don't open my reference folder. I can just lie and say that it's for figure drawing.
I don't know if that works with some of them. I think some of them are like, you know.
I thought Disney had a thing where...
They have a vault, yes. If that's what you were going to say.
Well, I thought they had a thing where, like, if you worked for them... Maybe this is antiquated and not true anymore, where, like, you had to... Like, anything you drew was their property or something?
Yeah, the NDA thing. It's antiquated now, though.
Okay.
I mean, up until, I guess, when whatever you're working on is released on the big screen, then you can bring it out. But, yeah, that's typically how... Yeah, that's how an NDA typically goes, so... Wherever you animate, wherever you draw is theirs until... it releases to the public, because leaks and whatnot. They don't want to have that.
Well, I also meant for like even if it wasn't related to that project.
Oh no, that's not a thing anymore. I know it used to be, but not anymore.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I have some artist freedom here and there.
Thank you for the sub, Misu.
Thank you, Misu.
Or Momo.
Thank you, Momo. Wow.
Thank you, Momo, whoever that is.
Taking a drink of my water twice without my fucking lid open. I look like an idiot. Twice I've gone to take the drink and I'm not at the lid open. And I was just too embarrassed to actually open and take another drink.
Trying to make sure I'm not overhydrated. Also, excuse the background noise. Got family over.
I didn't even hear it.
Okay, good.
I also have all of the epic rap battles of history playing on loop right now. So.
Oh.
He's not joking. The other day I was talking to this man.
Motivation mix. Yeah?
I was talking to him and he goes, yeah, I've been doing this thing lately where before me and my girlfriend go to bed, I just rap her an entire epic rap battle of history. I just like belt out the entire thing. She really hates it. She really doesn't. She's not a fan of it. But I still do it.
I got to express myself. I'm an artist, right?
It's his passion, so if she doesn't like it, then she's just not the one.
Question for ThiccWithaQ. Who's the inspiration for your main OC?
Ooh, I have two main OCs. You're gonna have to specify. Is it Yora or is it Sona?
We'll give them a moment to clarify.
Yeah.
Favorite ER... Someone asked favorite epic rap battle of history. Bryce, what is your favorite epic rap battle of history?
I don't know off top.
Mine is Barack Obama versus Mitt Romney. I think that's a good one.
I don't know. A lot of the early ones because they're nostalgic for me.
I would say either the Tony Hawk versus Wayne Gretzky or Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. That's all. The president ones were both pretty good, and then the Joe Biden Donald Trump one kind of poop. But
the directors one's pretty good. I like
the directors one's pretty good.
They said Yora, by the way.
Oh, Yora, yeah, Cruella de Vil. In case it wasn't obvious, I'm down bad for, or at least I remember being down bad for her from 101 Dalmatians. So just the subtle influence, and I guess Piers from Sword and Shield. I liked his vibes, so I decided to incorporate that into Yora. That's why she has like one side of her head white and the other side black, but it's mostly Cruella de Vil.
Iconic.
I gotta just derail things for a second and say Ingo keeps highlighting his messages. He says, I have 13k channel points, Scott. I will use them. Promise me that you will watch the entire second half of Gurren Lagann if I prove I am the third best Katana. You have not watched the entire
second half of Gurren Lagann?
It's a running thing that Scott thinks Gurren Lagann's mid.
It is.
Oh my god. Okay. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, fuck you.
yeah, we've
Third
been all
watch it. It's good.
He has trash taste.
The ultimate culmination of manliness.
A few years ago, yes. I watched. I guess it's actually many years ago at this point because I was in high school.
At this point, yeah.
I watched. I watched the first half of Gurren Lagann because Bryce kept telling me it's like the best thing ever and I need to watch it. And blah blah blah. And I just didn't enjoy it very much. And so I stopped watching it after the first half because I was like, I don't feel like watching the second half. And he was really mad at me for a long time. And then we started streaming and everybody kept bullying me, telling me to watch the second half of Gurren Lagann. So I was like, fine, whatever. So my girlfriend and I started watching Gurren Lagann. And we got about halfway through and we were both just kind of like, this kind of sucks. And we stopped watching it again.
But the second half is the great part.
It is
that's the part everyone wants you to watch. Just don't watch the first half. You've watched it like 10 times. Just watch the second half.
I feel like it counts because I've watched the first half.
No, it
twice,
doesn't. We're not doing this argument again.
I feel like having watched 2 halves, that counts as having watched the whole thing.
You are literally being scolded by ThiccWithaQ right now.
Yeah, and maybe I can just use my clout to bully.
Yeah.
I'll just I'll just tweet out, hey, this bitch Scott didn't watch the second half of Gurren Lagann. Everyone go bully him, man. No, that'll probably end badly. No.
Start a war. Scott's been wanting a Twitter war for a long time.
It's true. I really wanted some beef.
You do not want a beef.
No, but no. He doesn't. He doesn't want like your standard beef. He literally wants like a rap battle, but where instead of making diss songs, they just do art. So it's like somebody posts something, and it's like fuck you, and then he draws like a different thing, and they like go back and forth. Like it's just a war of art. But he wants there to be actual anger in it. Like he wants it to be like people actually don't like each other.
I think I used to do something like that with a Fire Emblem character. I don't know if either of you have played Fire Emblem, but in the newest one, Three Houses, there's this main girl called Edelgard, and the whole running theme is how much she treasures the MC and whatnot. So every time I drew her, she'd just get NTR'd relentlessly. So a bunch of people would get mad and then draw like revenge fan art of her actually getting with the professor. So that was kind of a thing, if that counts. But it would be fun, like beefing that way, because at least it's productive and ultimately it's still all in good fun.
Yeah, but Scott doesn't want it to be good fun.
No, you better pray that someone, like a fan, doesn't take it seriously and then like devolve things from there, because it only takes one, as I've noticed.
You know what else was mid? The Batman.
Here we go again.
I am stunned. Excuse me?
You liked The Batman? The movie that came out this year?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god!
Actually. It was
that
the
movie sucked.
Adaptation of Batman.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. First of all, did you like Batman v Superman? I need to know now.
I don't think I ever watched it because I heard it was bad.
Okay. Because if you are going to say, I like the Batman who kills, then I would have been like, okay, no, there's a completely different beast of Scott that I didn't know about. But, no, actually, he's the world's best detective. There's a detective-focused, like, movie. I liked it. It was different.
The Batman was not the world's best detective. Yeah, but draw Batman NTR. The Batman was not the best detective in the world in that movie. He sucked. He got his ass kicked the whole movie by the fucking nerdy looking guy. By the Riddler. And the Riddler was kind of cool until they took his mask off and he just looked like an ugly bastard.
Excuse you, I like Paul Dano. He can be handsome when he wants to be. But
he did not want to be in that movie.
He didn't want to be in this one. Yeah. But no, he did a lot of detective work though. Granted, a couple of things were contrived, like the whole, oh yeah, what's a rat with wings? A bat kind of thing. But he did do quite a bit of actual detective work. And also, I like that he could almost immediately answer most of the riddles. That time when, I don't know if it was the commissioner or some dude that crashed into the church and had a bomb strapped to his head or something and had to answer a couple of riddles from what's his face. I like that. It shows that, yeah, he's a very quick thinker. He did solve a couple of stuff by himself. So, I don't know, it still felt very much like the detective Batman that we always wanted, and not just the dude who swings around at night in a bat suit and undies and beats up bad guys.
You know why I hated it? Because Batman was just so useless in that movie. The Riddler's plan worked. He won. He did exactly what he wanted to do. Like, from beginning to end, the Batman did not stop him at any point. There's a 30-minute scene in the middle of this 3-hour fucking slog of a film where he has a chase scene with the Penguin where he blows up like a fucking whole interstate or something. And then like, it looks pretty, but it's really stupid. But then at the end of the chase scene, he catches the penguin, and the penguin's like, oh no, I'm not the guy that did that. I did other stuff, but not the thing you want me for. And it's just like, it was a complete waste of time. The Batman was wrong. He blew up a whole highway, and he spent 30 minutes of this film chasing somebody who didn't do anything.
See, I think you came into the movie with the wrong expectations.
Oh, I expected it to be good, so apparently.
Wow, okay. Nice clapback. But also, most likely you came into this with the expectation that this might be, I don't know, a rehash of the Joker. You know, what I feel like this movie was trying to do what the Joker was trying to do for basically every Joker Batman ever. And it wasn't that, but
can you tell me one thing that the Batman did that helped a single person in that movie?
He helped that dude from getting assaulted by a couple of thugs, number one, in the very first opening scene.
Oh my god, the opening scene. When I was watching this film, we were in the theater, and the movie starts, and it shows like just some people hanging out and like doing crime or whatever, and then it's like, oh look, it's night, and there's like this guy, he's about to rob a store or something. They don't really explain what he's about to do, but he just looks suspicious, I guess. And he's like, he looks over, he's about to do the crime, and then he looks over to the shadows. He sees just the shadows, and there's nobody there. And you're just looking straight at him as he's backing up into the street, and you could see the street behind him. This is about a minute into the movie. I turn to my girlfriend and say, I'm going to laugh so hard if like a car just fucking plows him over. And I shit you not, he backs up and a car runs him over. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I guess technically that helps. One less criminal off the street.
But he wasn't even there. He didn't do anything.
It's his presence. He's done this so many times that at this point, criminals have developed a fear of him, which should have deterred crime. But the main conflict was it actually wasn't. His whole
because he sucks.
No, he's going for a character arc. That's the main point of the entire damn movie. Because it's to show that, it's not just fear that you need. You actually need to give people hope and whatnot. That's where the hero part and the superhero thing comes from. And that's what it was trying to learn throughout those. Because this is year 2 of him being Batman. He's still working the kinks out of everything. So he's got the intimidation down. Now he just needs to get the helping people part down pat too. Because you could tell that he didn't exactly... Because you're right, he didn't really do much to save people. And that's the point. That's what he learned later on when he ended up leading those people out of the flooded stadium and helping them onto helicopters and shit.
The point that I gave up on the movie was about 10 minutes in. And it was when he was in his little lair and he has just finished being Batman for the night. And he has his fucking eye makeup all on him and he looks like emo Robert Pattinson. And he's
still
sitting there.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, and so Alfred, his butler, comes down. I guess if you don't know who Alfred is, his butler comes down and he's like, Master Wayne, which by the way, the actor that played him did a terrible job. Maybe it wasn't him. He just looked so out of place.
I don't think he was the best cast for.
No, he looked so out of place. He looked like he'd belonged in a fucking Jason Bourne movie or something. But he goes down there and he's like, Master Wayne, you have to come do this thing because Wayne Enterprises is going to go bankrupt because you've stopped giving a shit. And I swear to God, Robert Pattinson looks at him, this 30-year-old dude looks at him and goes, you're not my real dad, Alfred. Word for word, that's what he says. It was comical. It was so bad that it was comical.
It's the juicy conflict, okay? He regrets it later on when Alfred gets his face blown up.
Yeah, but did he have to sound like an angsty 15-year-old?
It's Batman, year 2.
But
of course
he
he's
didn't
an
have
angsty 15-year-old. Well,
he wasn't.
15, but
he's 30 in the movie.
Is he 30? I thought he was supposed to be in his
I've had this argument with people. Because they would say, oh, he's supposed to be a teenager here. And I'm like, well, he's played by Robert Pattinson, who is in his 30s, mid to late 30s. And they never state his age in the film. So, the only thing that you have to go off of is the fact
what
that
you're seeing right there.
is what you're seeing, which is Robert Pattinson, which is a 30-year-old man.
2 episodes back, and we've already spent 30 minutes shitting on the Batman.
I'm defending the Batman. It's Scotty that's trying to tear down a good piece of cinema.
I've not seen it, so I can't give my opinion on it.
Wow.
I have no interest. And then Scott just told me how bad it was, and so I'm afraid I'll like it, and then he'll like beat me up.
It's okay. He's in Kentucky. What can he do? Throw KFC at you through the mail or something.
Wow.
Aggressively waves KFC at your face.
I don't know, man. I just really didn't like it at all. I wanted to like it so bad.
He did. I will say he was excited for it. And Scott,
I guess ultimately in the end, everyone just has their different tastes. So
next, you're gonna tell me you like the fucking Marvel movies.
I don't. I didn't like Thor: Love and Thunder. The humor, the comedy took the juicy bites.
You are like one of the only guests we've ever had that's agreed with us. This makes me feel validated.
Oh, finally, a movie we fucking agree on.
I will say, you know what the best movie... Actually, the third best movie I've seen in theaters this year is?
What?
Is the Minions movie that just came out.
It
wasn't that bad.
Or was it the people in suits who were memeing on the movie?
Now, there were people in suits there, but actually the movie was not all that bad.
Okay.
I've seen a lot worse movies like the Batman.
You just had to have the last word there, didn't you?
I did, yeah. No, I don't know. It was. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be really bad because it's so popular that I figured it had to be at least like halfway decent. It wasn't as good as Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was a movie that I seen in theaters this year. That's really great.
I still haven't seen that actually. I have heard good things about it.
You can rent it now online. I would recommend it.
Yeah, sure.
That was really great. I seen the Elvis movie, which was surprisingly pretty good.
Okay.
You like the Minions movie more than the Elvis movie?
No, I said Minions was third.
Oh.
What was the first then?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, okay. What was the second then?
Elvis. And then third is Minions.
He watches most of his bad movies at the theater.
Yeah, I
Did you see Morbius?
No, I didn't see Morbius. I try not to go to the super movies because I know that I'll hate them. And the people will get mad that I hate them.
I hate them, and then we'll have this argument over and over again.
Yeah, and also, when I didn't like the Batman, normally like when I shit on like Marvel movies and stuff, people are okay. But when I didn't like the Batman, people took that to heart. They took that.
It was a saga.
It was kind of a big deal.
It felt like Scott was going to get canceled.
I had people
not liking the Batman. Oh my god.
Yeah, I had people be like, "You can't let us have our opinions." I'm like, "You can have whatever opinion you want. I just think it sucks."
Although
that's typically how it works. So
most people were pretty cordial about Scott not liking MCU movies, and even he was. But Otto really tried to convince Scott that he actually does like not that he should like them, but that he does, and he just like doesn't know it. Otto Giraffe was like sitting here for like 15 minutes, like, no, Scott, you gotta understand, you have to open your mind when you go to these movies. I love Otto. Otto's like one of my favorite guests. But he can make you like, he is so good at talking that he can make you, but like by the end of it, I'm pretty sure Scott was like, maybe
he can convince you to like, I don't know, like the Batman or something.
I don't think we've had Otto on since then. I guarantee Otto probably liked the Batman, and we'll probably sit here for like an hour and just not scold Scott, not be angry, just like quietly be like, you see, the Batman is actually, it's really incredible, and you just have to open your mind, and like he'll just, and by the end of it, Scott will be educated.
You know, the worst movie I've seen in theaters was this movie called Men.
Men?
Yeah, I really hated that movie a lot. That really sucked. There's this thing, I think I just really hate modern horror movies that try and be super artsy, because I'm pretty sure this was the same director that did The Witch, right?
Yeah.
Or no,
no wonder.
I think so.
Maybe. But I really hated that movie too, but people really liked it. I think I just don't like the artsy horror kind of things. Because they say it's artsy, but just nothing happens. The Men ends, and have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Ends, the ending of the movie is like this guy.
Spoiler for men.
Spoiler for men. This guy falls over and births another guy out of his butthole, and then
an actual full-grown guy.
yeah, he falls over and births another guy out of his butthole, and then that guy falls over and throws up another guy out of his mouth, and then that guy is actually like a 12-year-old boy, and so he falls forward and grows a vagina in between his shoulder blades, and another guy gets birthed out of there, and that's like the end of the movie.
How does that wrap up the plot, though?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
What symbolism is that supposed to represent?
I have no idea. I read some articles, and like you Google it, and all the articles are like, actually, men is good, and you'll read it, and they'll just be like, they'll tell you what happened, and then they'll just be like, it's good, but they don't explain why it's good.
They don't explain why. They just give you a summary.
Yeah, they're like they explain it, and they're like, doesn't this sound good? I'm like, no.
Are you a big movie guy?
Me personally, kinda, but it's either art house or the most basic mainstream thing ever. There's no in between.
Do you have any favorites?
If I'm watching Drive 2011, naturally, I don't know why. Every time I see Drive, I hear that that Sigma male music that comes up. That used to be a meme kind of thing. Apparently, it's popular among incels, which is really, really sad. But yeah, I like Drive 2011. I liked Blade Runner 2049, actually. I never actually saw the original Blade Runner.
It's really good.
So that was my intro into the franchise. But yeah, and then I liked Avengers Infinity War specifically, but not Endgame, mostly because the bad guy won. So that was the thing. And yeah, those are like my 3 movies of all time.
What do you think about Rambo?
It's okay if you want to turn your brain off and just indulge.
When's the last time you watched the first Rambo movie, First Blood?
When I was like 15, I think.
Okay.
Back when I was in boarding school, the dorm head would get us in the common room and he would just put on a movie for us. So we'd watch Rambo. That was when I saw Drive. And no, that wasn't Drive. Yeah, I saw Drive then. Yeah. I saw Drive, I saw Rambo, I saw Aliens versus Predators, gave me a fuck ton of nightmares. I pretty much saw all the Alien movies through that medium, and then when I was in college as well.
I'll say this. I had never seen Rambo up until like literally this last weekend. I was
How'd you find it?
Shocked. Well, I knew about it, but I always just assumed it was like an 80s turn your brain off, like just watch some explosions and guns kind of thing. And I don't really care about those too much. But I watched it and I was blown away. It was actually like kind of really good. The first time that Sylvester Stallone opens his mouth and speaks, and you can tell that he actually can act a little bit, it blew my mind. I had no idea that now I watched the second one, and the second one really was just kind of like a mid-generic action movie. But the first one is great. I will recommend anybody watch the first Rambo.
Was it because of the commentary on, what happens to veterans and whatnot?
I think partly because it has some subtlety to it. I mean, it definitely beats you over the head at times, but
oh yeah, for sure.
It has some subtlety to it, and Stallone can actually act, and especially in the second half of the movie, his acting is really great. And it's short. It's only like an hour and a half, and it gets in. It's really entertaining throughout the whole movie, and then it ends. It's not too I feel like a lot of modern movies suffer because they have to be 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
and 3 hours.
And
but
they always
that
try
movie,
to make the most of it. So
yeah,
but this one was straight to the point.
That movie just an hour and a half. You get in, get out, a really good time. I mean, it's not like a 5 out of 5 movie. It's like, like 4 out of 5
kind
maybe.
of turn your brain off to a degree, but the few times where your brain is on, it actually engages you.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I like it more than I should just because I was so shocked that it was actually like comprehensible. And like kind of a real movie, but I was really impressed by what I seen. I didn't even watch the third one because I was disappointed by the.
We were talking about runtimes yesterday, and I'm a firm believer that like the shorter a movie is, like the longer you get for a movie, the more you have to do to earn that length.
Yeah,
like, when you're talking going over like an hour and a half, that's fine. But we don't going over 2 hours. Gosh, you have to be a good movie. Like you have to have something to keep. And like I don't know, I don't like I feel like a lot of movies these days are just like they have to, like 2 hours is the minimum. Like that's like what it has to be. And I think so many movies would be so much better if they just had like not like 30 minutes trimmed off at the end, but like if you just trimmed like 20 minutes throughout the movie to make it like tighter and shorter. They just drag so much.
Because they have they're trying to cram in a lot and they get a little too ambitious. And I think maybe that's a ding that I would have against the Batman. It did get too long at certain points. And as such, attention could wane at points. And that's the thing. But yeah, the shorter some of them are, the more they have to tighten things up to make sure that everything reads and nothing is lost in the script. So maybe that is why these days they tend to be a lot more tolerable compared to really long movies.
This goes back to my theory that everything used to be better in the 80s and 90s, especially movies.
I was of the opinion that music used to be better back in the 80s and 90s, and that's why I only ever listened to old school tunes.
How old are we talking?
70s, 80s, Phil Collins kind of music. Phil Collins, basically anything from Stranger Things, and anything that I could get from my dad's playlist.
I pretty much alternate between modern rap music and Johnny Cash. It's a really diverse...
And Dolly Parton. Scott listens to a lot of Dolly Parton.
Parton.
Dolly
I don't
Parton.
blame you. It's given where you're from, I'm not surprised.
There you go. She's actually pretty... She has some songs that are really catchy. I don't know. I guess it's kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. I listen to a lot of classical music, actually, too.
Oh, like a villain. I see.
We'll do this thing where when we start working on a new story, we'll make a Spotify playlist together. So we have for our last few stories, we have Spotify playlists made for them. We had one that was just full of 70s music. That one was pretty fun. Our most recent one is full of classical music.
Was it a bad guy's debut? I don't know if there's antagonists or not in your comics.
The 70s one is very hard to describe. It's really, I don't know, Bryce, how would you describe that story?
The 70s one?
Yeah.
I would describe it as we got really into MK Ultra and wanted to write a book about it.
Oh, I see.
Fair.
And we're Tarantino is one of our favorite directors. So picture a Tarantino style story about MK Ultra, and maybe that book will come out one day. Maybe we'll actually finish it one day. It's one of my favorite premises we've ever had, but I don't know if we'll ever actually write it.
Yeah, we worked on it for a few weeks, and then we were
send me the draft.
Well, we don't even have a draft yet. We worked on it for a few weeks, and then we were like, we're not actually good enough to write this yet, and so we stopped.
Yeah, we've had a few stories in our life that we've started to work on, and we've been we are not good enough to make this as good as we want to be, and so we've stepped away. The story we're writing right now is one that we started in 2019, and we were like, no, we're not good enough, and so we put it away for 2 years, and then earlier this year we were like, okay, we're finally good enough to do this story justice. So we've come back to it.
I see.
But yeah,
what
that
about
story.
The Ghibli movies?
What about what?
The Ghibli movies.
Oh yeah, I love those actually. I thought we were talking about like, IRL Western movies, but when it comes to anime movies, I have a fuck ton that on my list. Anything Makoto Shinkai, because that background work is gorgeous. Can't say much about the story, but at least Your Name was pretty interesting.
If you've seen one Makoto Shinkai movie, you've seen them all story-wise.
You've seen them all,
like,
yeah.
Everyone's
really
favorite
like that.
Makoto Shinkai story is the first one they saw. I feel like.
Yeah.
It's just like Your Name is mine because it's the first one I saw. But like then you watch Weathering with You and stuff.
The second,
just the same.
It really does feel the same. Like, yeah, they're all pretty, but it's the story could be better. But hey, we have Mamoru Hosoda for that. Even though granted some of his movies have been missing lately, but I did like Summer Wars. That was great. Girl Who Left Through Time, classic. Ghibli movie wise, Howl's Moving Castle,
classic.
My man.
Mononoke. Classic. You seen Ponyo?
I have not seen Ponyo actually.
Ponyo is really good. Very childish, but really good.
I shall add that to the list.
It has this one anime sequence that's like the animation in it is where I can't really describe it because it's kind of a spoiler, but in the middle of the movie there's like this one sequence that's just like incredible. It's just like 3 minutes of like incredible animation and then just like 5 minutes of like some of my best like small scene storytelling I've ever seen. I really love it. It's really
good.
What
about The Wind Rises? Have you seen that?
I have seen that. That was pretty good.
That was great. That's one of my favorite Ghibli movies. Yeah, I feel like it's super underrated.
I just liked how real it was, compared to like the typical Ghibli movie fare. So the ones that tend to focus on real life. There's this other one. The name keeps escaping me. But it was about these two kids. It was actually kind of tragic. But
Grave of the Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Yes, yeah. Grave of the Fireflies. I kind of like it despite the premise. So
Grave of the Fireflies is incredible. It's a movie you only need to watch once or twice in your life, though.
Yeah,
like it's not something that it's not something you throw on for the homies to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one. It's
one of
the few
experience,
movies,
but
it's like an experience that it very viscerally hits you. And it's just like I said, it's something you don't need to watch a lot in your life because it's just not one of those kind of movies.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Silent Voice? I've not, but I'm about halfway through the manga. I got the box set a while back.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, I really like what I've read of the manga so far. It's very good. I think actually Makoto Shinkai said like the movie was better than any movie he could ever make. Like there's some quote from Shinkai about Silent Voice like that.
It did have a very deep premise, that's for sure. Well, deep, but more human compared to like most movies that I'm used to. So,
you don't see a lot of stories that are about bullying from like the bully side. You know what I mean? That are very
from the bully's perspective. Yeah. And it shows that ultimately it's still a vicious cycle. In the end, it could also happen to you and whatnot. I like that message. And then, of course, growing from that and becoming a better person and also understanding people who are different.
Bryce, have you read 20th Century Boys? No, I've not yet. I own the entire series, but I've not started it yet. I bought it last year. I bought the whole thing, and the second one just never came in stock for like a year. And so I was sitting on all of the books except for Volume 2. And I just recently got it like a month or two ago. So I will start reading it at some point. But it's a long series, so I'm just waiting for a time to dive in.
Are you talking about The Boys, the Amazon show?
No, 20th Century Boys. That's different.
The Urasawa manga. Put some respect on his name.
Did you guys see The Boys now that you've brought it up?
No, I don't really watch much TV.
I've not seen it, and I actually don't know anybody that has.
My parents love it.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah, my parents just talk about how, I don't know, they just, every time they talk about it, they're like, you have to watch it. It's so fucking good. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
It must be, like, have the biggest marketing budget of any show
you can't
that's
escape
ever existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, anytime a new season comes out, it's all over.
Yeah, you'd have seen, like, some ads or something going around. Twitter, I know, like, puts it in your face if you're ever looking at what's on the trending tab. So
we were watching a UFC show once, and there was like a really beloved fighter, and she was retiring, and she took off her gloves and she put them down, and like they were interviewing her, and it was all sad. And like after the interview finished, the guy walks away, and the announcer's just like, and very sad, a legend has retired here tonight. Make sure you check out The Boys on Amazon Prime.
It's so, dude, when you watch like UFC shows, the ads are incredible. It'll be like, because they'll have to they'll literally do ads in the middle of fights, but they won't like stop the fight. So it'll literally be like, and a leg kick from Shevchenko, and she's really going hard. And this is brought to you by The Boys. Season 3 out on Amazon Prime now. Anyway, back to the fight. Like, I literally dead ass, I'm not joking, they do that. It's wow. And like you pay like $80 for the goddamn card. So it's like, and you're still being harassed with ads.
Shout out to the boys.
Random question. What are some small artists that you see a lot of potential in? Do you guys have anybody specific you want to shout out?
There's this dude called Hentali. He's pretty good. I can see him going really far with his art style if he keeps at it. I can't say that I know too many small artists. Or at least not off the top of my head, because the definition of small is kind of lost on me. So I don't know how it comes off, but I guess I just don't know that many artists that are in the, I guess, if you consider the 1,000 below small, then I don't know anyone in that range. But yeah, entirely. There's someone else. Aiga's not small anymore, so he doesn't count. No, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Everyone boosts Scott Malin too. Lots of growth and potential in this one's future.
I'm here for.
Oh yeah, maybe I should just add myself too when Twitter eventually nukes my account.
I'll shout out two people. There's a lot of people I can think of, but two I specifically want to shout out, and they're gonna think I'm fucking joking with this, but I promise you I'm actually being dead ass serious for once. Two of our mods actually, Scrub and Inko. Legitimately, and I mean any of our mods who's an artist, but these two specifically, Scrub and Ingo work very hard. Scrub's been working on this like piece with like 40 characters for a long time.
Wow.
And it's a bunch of OCs, and it's really fucking cool seeing him work through it. Last year, Ingo did a thing where he was going to draw an OC every day for some, like do like a fan art of somebody's OC, and he did it for like 30 straight days.
Wow. That's dedication.
Those two both just have a lot of drive, and I really respect it. And I think that they are going to go very far. So there you go. It's the only nice thing I'll ever say about my mods. But I genuinely mean
good
that.
For them. That just reminded me, there's this other dude, I don't know if like most people in the chat know them, there's this guy called Salt Beast. He draws like quite a bit, and he's the only one that I can trust to ever critique my art, because he always brings in unsolicited advice in my Discord, since we're mutuals, about, oh yeah, you drew the TDs wrong here. But it's never mean, so I actually get to learn from it, and it's very helpful because at some point you get kind of too big, and thus people get a little afraid to like talk about stuff that you kind of messed up. So it's really neat.
That does happen a lot. I have some people ask me like, do all you big artists know each other? And it's like, well, kind of. Like, you know, you can suddenly relate more easily to people that are comparable to you. You know what I mean?
True.
Like asking for feedback from somebody like you would be different than asking for feedback from like the general Discord server or something like that.
Yeah. More often than not, you'll just get the typical, oh, but your art is so good, you don't need feedback and whatnot.
That's one benefit I have of working so closely with Scott is he from like day one has always given me such intense feedback.
I think that's the advantage of having a duo.
One time he deadass I sent him a scene, like a comic scene I had written, and he said, I'm disappointed in you.
Oh,
Make
wow.
it better. Do
Harsh.
it better. I'm disappointed in you. That is a legitimate sentence he said to me. And it worked. Because one thing, when you work with somebody so closely, they know exactly how to motivate you. And I'm one of those people that I kind of get motivated by, like, I want someone to be pretty harsh. Like, if it's bad, I would rather them say, like, literally, you're a trash human being. Because it's just...
Okay, I don't know if I could handle that. But
well, also, it's different because, like, with Scott, I trust that opinion's correct. You know what I mean? Like, he's
it's
the
not
one
coming
person...
from a bad place.
Yeah,
so.
he's the one person where I'm like, I know if he is saying that, I can trust with 100% certainty that this needs to be better or this isn't done well.
Right,
the caveat is I've gotten so afraid of him mentally destroying me that I now I've gotten a lot better just out of fear.
Wow. Conditioned reflex.
Now it's like the other. I'll tell you how bad it is sometimes. I sent him a scene a while back, and he said, "Yeah, it's pretty good." And I was like, "What do you mean pretty good? What's wrong with it? What did I do wrong? What did I fuck up? What do you mean pretty good?" Normally, you're like, "Oh, fucking boy, this is so goddamn good. Why is it only pretty good? What separates this from the other scene?" He's like, it was pretty good. You did a good job." And I'm like, "No, I did not. I'll rewrite the entire scene. I will scrap everything I've just done and redo it."
Wow, no.
So that's also kind of how I am as a person. I'm very quick to scrap and redo everything because I hate it.
You're not married to your work, and that can be a good thing sometimes, because then it means that you're more open to advice and change.
Oh no, yeah, I'd say Scott and I both. When it comes to one of our comics specifically, we are perfectionists to a core, and so we will scrap anything. We literally spent all of last year writing one book. We're not writing one book, but like we spent a whole we were writing that book over the course of the whole year. And we got to December and we decided to scrap every bit of work we'd ever done for it.
Whoa.
And then restarted it. And I rewrote the entire book in like 3 weeks.
Ultimately, if it came out better,
it did. It's way better. That's how we are. We are the kind of people that we will keep rewriting, keep scrapping something until it hits that level of like quality that we want. It's a gift and a curse. But oh yeah, Scott, do you want to tell Chad about what your cube did?
Oh yeah, remember yesterday's stream, guys, when I pulled out the tungsten cube and I was like, look at this, it's funny, and then I it and it made a big noise and it was like, ha ha, it broke my desk.
What?
There's a little hole in my desk now.
A little cube-shaped hole.
A little. Well, it didn't go all the way through. It just a big dent in it in my new desk.
What are you doing with a tungsten cube?
He had to buy it because of a stream reward. That was like one of the things. It was like, give us money and I'll buy the cube. I had to eat a hot chip on stream.
Cube. I won't drop it again. But that bitch is heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh well, you live and you learn. Not to
drop your cube.
Carry a fucking tungsten cube.
I learned. What?
No, I was about to change the topic to fitness since someone can't handle a tungsten cube, but continue.
Oh yeah, technically I ate 2 hot chips. That is true. Yeah, I had to eat 2 hot chips for stream one time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What was that?
I might have accidentally knocked my microphone over.
Also, yeah, I want to talk about this. Before we literally were, the day before we were going to go live, come back for our hiatus, Scott, we were running tests. And like Scott's just having all these fucking problems with his mic. And he's like, man, what's wrong with it? It won't work. Blah, blah, blah. Bryce, what am I doing wrong? And I go, I don't know. You plugged your mic in, right? And he goes, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It's just not working. Why? And then he goes to grab his cord. And I watch this motherfucker break his cord by accident. I watch him pull it out of his microphone. This like almost $300 microphone. Pull it out and just break the fucking USB. And he just like looks at it.
Wow.
And he goes, that's not good. And I go, you're right. It's not. And he goes, huh, what do you think? What kind of USB is this? And I go, I think it's a USB-C. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. And I just see him in the background, like rooting through his closet, like desperately trying to find a fucking USB.
I found one. We're here.
That's why he has a bright ass red USB coming out of his fucking microphone.
It's unique. It adds character.
It looks stupid, is what it does.
It adds character.
These microphones can't handle these guns.
Shut the fuck up. Do you have any mangas that you like? Are you into reading manga?
Yeah, actually, it's what influenced my art style to a degree. Or at least when I'm not drawing for it. There's this one artist called Miwa Shiro. He used to illustrate this manga called Dogs. And I really fell in love with the art style. It was very sharp, but a lot of the poses and gestures were very readable. So that's what got me like into that particular style. And I've just been running with that ever since when it comes to illustrating like manga panels and whatnot. So, and then there was also The Gray Man. I have like a bunch of volumes collected. Then, of course, your typical mainstream stuff like Naruto and Bleach. But I've kind of fallen off that wagon ever since one ended and the other went into like a sequel. It's kind of mid, but we don't talk about Boruto.
Nobody talks about Boruto.
And then it's just very niche stuff that like most people haven't heard of, like not Chainsaw Man. That's not niche anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say Chainsaw Man.
The one shots though, those are by the same author. Those are pretty good, like Goodbye Eri, and then
Look Back.
Oyasumi Ponpon, and there's Junji Ito stuff. I like those.
What's your favorite Junji Ito?
What's the one about the spirals?
Uzumaki? That's my favorite too.
Uzumaki, yeah.
Uzumaki is by far and away his best work.
Yeah, it is, for good reason.
If you read Uzumaki and then like read all the other shit, you'll be like, oh man, this is such a step down. Because it's not even like Uzumaki is really, really good. His other stuff is just like, okay, I don't know. Except for his short story collections slap.
Yeah, because they're short, so you can actually get in as much terror out of that as possible.
But like Gyo and stuff like that, I don't know.
And that's why the like anime adaptation was such a letdown.
Yeah, I love manga. Manga's also my biggest inspiration. I read a lot of it. It's basically my main hobby aside from playing games is reading manga.
That's good. Number one, they have very good stories, so not quite as boring as Western DC comics and shit. But
Fly said, Bryce, you've never shown me your collection. Look in the background, Fly. It's there. There it is. You can see it. Here, I'll make the lights brighter. There, can you see it better now? There. It's all 411 of my manga. I think that's how many I have.
Jesus. Yeah, hey Bryce, speaking of manga, how much progress have you made on Nausicaa?
I haven't read any more of it since you asked me yesterday.
Yeah.
Nausicaa.
How many times do you think? Yeah, the Miyazaki manga.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
I've been reading Pokemon Adventures. Okay, I don't have time for it.
Hey.
It's dense.
Pokemon Adventures slaps.
It does.
It's good. It has no reason to be as good as it is. I'll send you a picture, Fly. I got you. After we hop off. Yeah, I'm very partial. I like Inio Asano a lot. I really like Salonin. Poon, obviously. I've not read all of Poon, but I really like what I have read. I really love Rumiko Takahashi.
Oh, yeah.
Mermaid Saga's good. Mason Ikoku's good. I have Inuyasha, but I've not. I have a few volumes of Inuyasha, but I haven't read it yet. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Golden Kamuy is good. I've started getting into that.
Oh yeah, Golden Kamuy.
I've just recently hopped on that train. It's really fucking good. Obviously, Chainsaw Man's great. Everyone's read Chainsaw Man except for Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Good for me.
God, what are you doing?
Well, a lot of people kept telling me to read it, so I didn't read it.
I will say one of my favorite mangas of all time is Akira. I really love Akira.
I only saw the movie, but that was
The
good.
movie is so much worse than the manga. The movie's very pretty. It's very pretty. The actual story, it's like they condensed 6 books into 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's really rough.
That's probably why.
It's one of those things. Maybe it's fine, like if you've not read the books, but once you read the books, it's just like fuck, this is garbage compared to the how good the books are. But it's also one of those things where I feel like it's really confusing if you've not read the books because it's so condensed down. Like it so much is cut out.
Kaneda.
Yeah, but the manga's good. Believe it or not. Hot take.
Hey Bryce, switch off of my screen.
Okay. You're good. Have you ever seen the Salonen movie? No, I've not. It's a live action one, right? I've never seen it.
Bryce, what other movies do I like or not like?
What other movies do you like?
Do
Does
I
he
like
know
or
you
not?
that well?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know more about Scott's life than I feel like anybody else does. Just because
Oh,
we've been when you're friends for like 15 years, and you don't really have any other friends at all. You just kind of learn about each other. Fuck, I don't know. You liked the first Scream movie? First Scream movie's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm trying to think stuff you really liked.
Yeah, or really dislike.
You liked Goodfellas? Goodfellas is really good. Casino. Anything by Martin Scorsese you like?
Yeah.
Anything by Tarantino you like?
Inglourious Bastards is the best one.
Kill Bill is my favorite.
Kill Bill's pretty great.
Fuck, I don't know. You like a lot of things, Scott. 7?
I don't like anything.
You like 7?
7's pretty
Things
good.
you hate? I don't know. You have to pull up your spreadsheet. You hate a lot of things. You hate more things than you like. What was that one movie you made me watch? Halloween Town? I remember you really hated that.
I really hated Halloween Town.
You
A
really
lot.
talked about how much you hated this.
Was that
She
supposed
also-
to be a horror?
It's like a children's movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a children's movie. It's not really.
Never mind that.
She made me
vaguely
watch this
remember.
like after school show called like Brink. I really hated that.
What was the
That
one?
was a
Didn't she
movie.
make you watch like a surfing movie or something that you really hated?
It was Brink. It
Oh,
was
was it? Okay.
rollerblading, I think. That movie really sucked. The main character's name was Brink.
Was it like a high? I keep thinking High School Musical, but that brand of Disney teen movie kind of thing.
Yeah,
that
but worse.
We watch after school.
Yeah, but not
But-
the quality of High School Musical. That's how low we're talking.
Even
Wow.
worse. Mm-hmm.
What about Johnny Tsunami? Do you guys remember Johnny Tsunami? That movie slaps.
I never saw that.
That's this. You gotta go watch it. It's 5 stars. It's a banger.
I feel like you're trolling me, but I'll just
I
look
am. I am.
Yeah,
I'll be blunt.
at with a name like Johnny Tsunami. Sounds like Sharknado.
Gonna drop Old Boy again. I've never seen Old Boy.
Old Boy is good.
I've
Old
always
Boy's
heard
good.
really good things about it. I've just never seen
Yeah.
it.
Not the remake.
Yeah, the original.
It's not an English movie, right? Like it's Korean.
No, it's not.
Is it Korean?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Korean.
Speaking of Korean movies, Parasite's really good. I know there's like a generic
Parasite's
answer
great.
these days, but Parasite is legitimately really good.
It taught me how to make chapaguri.
I,
Now that's all
the-
I
the-
eat.
The funniest scene in Parasite is when the fucking dude is rubbing the chick's nipple and she's like, now go counterclockwise. I always think about that because it's so out of pocket.
It's so specific.
It's so random. Like it just I remember how much it fucking caught me off guard. Very good movie though. I remember I was wary of it because like everyone was just like, oh, it's so good, and I was like, okay. But I legitimately thought it lived up to the hype. I very much enjoyed it.
Really good.
Had a funky tone. I liked that movie. It had a lot of weird tone shifts. It felt like it knew when it wanted to be like kind of silly and when it wanted to be kind of creepy and when it wanted to be like really serious. And I felt it
Did you
flipped.
guys see Train to Busan?
No,
I
I'm not.
have.
I know Scott really loves it.
Great movie.
It's great.
What's that remake they're making? Trained in New York? Aren't they making like
There's a remake?
Yeah, aren't they making a remake? I thought they
I
were.
hope
And it's
not.
like I thought it was
Feels like
literally
they
called
could.
like Trained in New York or something like that. And it's like gonna be like a bastardized American version.
Most likely.
You watched Parasite in class? That's
In class.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put that on for my class if I were a teacher. Unless you're like a college student or something.
Sounds like a fun teacher.
When I watched that movie, I had a terrible stomach bug, and I made it all the way through the movie until about the last 15 minutes, and then I just had to go vomit my brains out. So I actually didn't finish the last 15 minutes of the movie until the next morning.
Oh, I see.
So I would like to do a rewatch of it and have a complete watch through, but I've not done that yet.
And didn't that break your streak of like 10 years of not throwing up?
Yeah, I didn't throw up for over a decade, and then I got some McDonald's that really...
See, this is why I don't trust McDonald's.
Yeah,
Scott eats a
it's
lot
not
of
good.
McDonald's.
Not anymore,
Right.
I don't. I used to.
The only thing I ever get from there is the milkshakes, but the rest of the food just kind of puts me off.
McDonald's milkshakes do slap when they can actually give you one. Like
They're
when the
pretty
machine's
good.
Working.
Yeah, when they can actually give you an emphasis on that.
That it's a
That
real
feels like they
it's a real
have.
problem.
Maybe they're aware that that's what people actually come for, so it sells out real quick.
Yeah, when we were streaming before, Scott would eat McDonald's after every stream.
It wasn't every stream.
It was at least once a week.
It was at least once a week. I'll say that for a while.
Sounds like a
But-
tradition.
Not anymore.
It's still less than you
Not
eat Taco
anymore.
Bell.
I do like Taco Bell. That's my one thing. If I'm gonna eat fast food, it's gonna be Taco Bell. I have a soft spot for it.
Scott's
So
the kind of
one
person
time
that told me
back
he works out so he
was-
can eat
I
like
would
shit.
go for Arby's.
What's that?
I said when I visited the US, I remember liking Arby's quite a bit.
Arby's is
But I heard that
really
no one really
expensive.
likes it as much. Yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's better than your normal fast food. It's just super expensive compared to normal fast food.
And also,
But
like,
not
it's-
as good as the prices.
It's not as good as the prices, and you could get the same thing just like going and sitting down and eating somewhere, like not like a fast food place. I feel like,
Yeah.
like you could get a better burger or whatever you're gonna get if you just go to like a fucking steakhouse and sit down and eat.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never. Although I will say Arby's. The first time I ever had a Reuben, which is my favorite sandwich, I had it in Arby's. So I guess I can always thank Arby's for that.
In an Arby's parking lot.
In an Arby's park.
Meet me behind an Arby's fucking lot.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not the biggest Arby's guy.
That's fair.
But I've also not eaten in like 10 years. I'm with fast food. If you don't like it, like they have to make a good first impression, or it really ruins like your whole perception of it.
And that's why I don't go to McDonald's. Yeah, actually, I haven't gone to McDonald's in 5 years. Holy shit.
Gotta keep the streak alive at this point.
You're better off, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not really missing anything. I got Tim Hortons right here, so
Tim Hortons.
it's
Canadian
healthier.
bastard.
My most
From
hated
what?
fast food place is fucking Burger King. I really hate Burger King. Out of like all the big places,
And I got food from there.
I know
It's like
Scott also hates it.
McDonald's, but worse.
Somehow. I don't even know how they manage that, but they do. It's almost impressive.
What color is an AK-47?
Isn't it orange? Black and orange?
Yeah.
I thought it was just black all through.
No, I think there
I
are
think
little
it-
orange bits.
I don't think it's orange. I think it's wood.
Well, it's I'll fucking kill you. That's what I'll do. Before we fucking called you, Scott was sitting there, and I kept being like, "Okay, so we're gonna get this set up." And every time I'd say something, he'd go, "Your mom." So I'd be like, "Okay, we're gonna do a test." And he's like, "Gonna test your mom," and I'd be like, I'm gonna check the levels." He's gonna check the levels on your mom, and he did this for like 5 minutes. Every single thing I said, I'd be like, "All right, to call him." I'll be like, "Ready to call your mom." I'll be like, and it just kept going. I was getting so legitimately mad. I was about to fucking explode.
That's what friendship feels like.
I don't know if I'd say that. That's what a friendship falling apart feels like.
No, you're not real friends if you don't talk about screwing someone's mom or someone's sister. So that's completely how it works.
I have a
shout out to Ray William Johnson doing your mom.
Fucking throwback.
God, I wonder how Ray William Johnson is doing.
He brought your favorite Martian back.
Again. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Orphan Tears 2 and 3 are out now. It's a trilogy.
Huh.
Not good.
Take
don't
Is it good?
No.
Yeah. It's somehow worse than when he started. Like before, at the very least, you used to be able to say like, at least he tried, and it sounded like he was putting some effort in when he rapped. Now he whisper raps, like he says all of his raps like this.
He really does.
Like he's trying.
It's
like
crazy.
he's trying not to let his mom hear him or something. It's not great.
No idea why either. Like I can't make heads or tails of why he does it. And he like tries to sing now. Like he tried to sing a chorus and it did not go.
Oh, and he can't carry a tune, can he?
And he can't.
No.
He can't do anything nowadays, I guess.
So there's what fading into obscurity feels like.
Bring back.
On that depressing note, actually, I wonder, in the future, I guess, where do you guys see yourselves, like making a comic brand or something like that, or I don't know, having your own studio, or what's the goal for you two?
Having our own studio, I think, is definitely the ultimate goal.
Neato.
Just being able to write scripts and then having like a team of artists that just draw those scripts. That sounds awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's our big dream, is having our own little office space and having it be like we can just focus on writing and just pump out as many scripts as we want. It's a very long road to get there. It's first we have to get published.
You'll still get there eventually.
But
for now, I just have to draw Patreon porn.
Yeah. For now, just grind it out, get that capital.
But so Scott's dream is not have to do his job anymore. No. So he wants to we want it to be like he can draw the specific, because we write a lot of things and he doesn't have the time to draw most of them because you can only really draw one when you're talking about juggling Twitter, Patreon, and a comic. You can only draw so much. And so adding more comics on top of that, it's the kind of thing of like it becomes more of a problem over time, because when you're talking like a 300-page book, you're talking years of work to get that.
The burnout can really like hit with that kind of workload. So it'll be good to have like lots more hands on deck, and that's where a studio would be good for.
Yeah, and it's also especially because it's like in that time while he's doing that, we might have written 3-4 books, and it's like we don't want them to just sit on the shelf. If we do that for an entire career, we'll have like 10 books out and the rest will just sit on the shelf forever. And we don't really want that. And so our ultimate goal, that's why we've had Shadia on here before, Shadia Amin, and she's drawing a book for us. She's a good friend of ours, and our goal is to have more stuff like that eventually. Is have people we really like, we really want to work with, like drawing, and we really trust to draw our books.
Yeah. Build a nice partnership from there. That's clever, actually.
But in the immediate, we're just working towards getting published, and that's it. That's the goal right now, is just getting books published.
That's neat.
What about you?
God damn it, Scott.
To be honest, I don't quite know. And I think that's kind of a problem that I've been trying to like work through. So, because I always run through the notion that, yeah, sure, you're currently like getting through some stroke of luck, getting lucky off of Twitter and Patreon and whatnot. But when it when it eventually, I don't know, stops being viable, then what are you gonna do afterwards? So I guess I'm just gonna go back into adult stuff, like, God, real estate or something.
So you're just as doom and gloom as we are.
Yeah, I am. I'm just as doom and gloom like any typical adult. So I'm just using Patreon porn to, I don't know, fund a house or something that I can rent out, and then, I don't know, become a shitty landlord to university students so that I can continue drawing Patreon porn up until my 50s.
That's the thing that I think some people don't understand, though, is that, like, even when you make it to this tier, it's not super stable.
It's not. It really isn't.
What I always tell people is that, like, you might have job security. Tomorrow, Patreon could wake up and say, no more porn. And, like, everyone's fucked. Like, we are all... It doesn't matter how much you're making. You could be like those fucking Summertime Saga guys making 70 grand a month. You're fucked. You've lost your money. It's gone. It doesn't matter how much you have saved up. Your current influx... You can go to Gummerge. You can do this, that. You're not going to make all that back. It's just gone. And it's very scary and very stressful.
It is. And that's why it's always on the back of my mind. So yeah, like a ticking time bomb. So that's why we're just grinding shit out until we have enough capital to go into our endeavors, so we don't have to rely on just Patreon. But at the same time, I also hear like some people going, "Oh, just get back into like the normal 9 to 5 then." But at the same time, you make a lot more striking it out on your own compared to like when you're doing the normal, I guess, 9 to 5. And then there's also the satisfaction thing going on, because God, the number of horrible experiences that I've had in the studio, it's almost biblical, the kind of shit that you can see going on behind the scenes.
It is hard to imagine going back to
when you've tasted like the freedom, I guess, that comes with being freelance, going back into that regulated lifestyle that doesn't quite pay as much compared to this. Is at least the security is there, but after a little while, even that security just feels more like a constraint than anything, because you can never go above that.
Golden handcuffs is the word for it.
The what?
They call it the golden handcuffs. You have you can have a pretty good job, but it's not. It still feels trapped.
Yeah, there's no. I guess most of the time, upward mobility is not a thing there. So, at least for.
It's also, I think most people would rather, like, I would take the lack of job security over like doing something that doesn't satisfy me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, being fulfilled is, like, I think, like, one of the most important parts of anything.
True.
And I think that's like the major distinction. I think you have to feel that way to do art for a full-time job. Like, I always tell people, as like, if you can do something else, you probably should, because the people that do this full-time, it's like their only option, and like you'll just we'll go crazy if we're not creating something.
True.
Yeah, I used to always say, like, people early when I was writing, people would say, like, well, what are you going to do if it doesn't work out? And I'd always be like, well, there is no it not working out. If it doesn't work out, I'll be like 70 still doing this, and I won't have money. That'll be the difference. That's a feeling that I say, like, and I'm not saying you have to feel that feeling, but I'm saying, like, that's a good way to know, like, you can, no matter, like, it's just because that's the biggest thing, right? Is just drive. It's being able to wake up.
That's for sure. Knowing that your options, you're kind of fucked otherwise. So,
I meant to ask you, do you currently, or I assume not, but have you in the past done commissions?
Me?
Yeah.
I have like 6 or 7 lined up right now that I can't work on. I was going to work on them during stream, but, well, Twitch policy, so.
Damn Twitch.
But yeah. I still do commissions, but they are mostly kept to Patreon now, because I tend to get swamped otherwise if I announce it on Twitter.
Now, see, usually there's I've seen the trend of when an artist, this is myself included, quote unquote makes it on Patreon, or like they start making livable money, they pretty much stop doing commissions immediately. Why do you keep going?
Because I'm trying to buy a house so that I can tax the fuck out of university students so that I can continue.
There you go.
No, I actually have financial goals that I've been trying to meet. That is also what drove when I noticed this account doing well, and when I then made the Patreon and that started doing well, that's what drove it to that's what drove me to like keep at it for reals, because now I can actually meet some financial goals. I had people that I needed to take care of as well, so it's a good thing that this actually came in clutch a good number of times. So yeah, that's why regardless, it's always good to have more than one source of income, at least to me. Otherwise, it just feels like you're on this unstable beam that can break anytime. So yeah, and I just like making money, I guess. So if I'm not crapping out weird ideas, then I'd rather be working, or at least feel like I'm working, because it also gives that sense that I'm busy.
No, that's fair. I definitely am. I use the free time that Patreon has afforded us to work on comics, like
to work on your comics and stuff.
You know, I don't I'm not one of those people that I can rent this. I'm gonna just goof off or something. I'd go crazy.
Yeah,
Scott and I have very strict schedules.
Get very boring after a little while, so it's good to have something to keep you busy.
Yes.
Be it endeavors or commissions.
Yeah, we both after we finished high school, we decided immediately that we wanted to go into like doing this like balls to the wall. And Scott, for what that meant was he immediately just dove into doing commissions and stuff. And for me, that meant I just stayed home and wrote all the time, and my parents were somehow very supportive of it.
I'm glad your parents were, because I don't.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I always gush about how great my parents are in that regard.
Yeah, good for you.
But what
mine were not.
But that because of that, it like we developed very strict I guess effort? Yeah, like where we're at now, we both wake up at 5 a.m. We start work at about 6, and we finish work at about 5 p.m. And that's just all day writing and drawing. And then we did, and I don't know if maybe we would, but I think a lot of it was from that early phase where it was like for my parents to let me keep doing what I was doing, I had to prove to them that I was working hard. You know what I mean? Like I had to. My parents wouldn't let me do it if I was fucking around. They only let me do it because they knew I was working very, very hard to achieve something I wanted. And Scott had to do it because he had to literally earn money to eat off commissions. And so we had to get a lot better very quickly.
Very quickly.
Push ourselves really hard. When we started,
put yourself to the fire.
We were working 7 days a week. We weren't even taking weekends off. So we were working all day. I mean, there was a point where I was writing like 10,000 words a day.
Whoa!
It wasn't.
What about burnout?
What I was going to say is it ended up burning us out a lot. And a big part of our growth was learning to force ourselves to take. Like now we take the weekends off. We mostly stop work. At certain times. We try and be good boys about it. But the problem is we still have that nature in us a little bit where it's like, it'll be like we're working on something we really like and we'll work on Sundays, or we'll be working till like 7 or 8 and stuff like that.
Because it's not like 9 to 5, the tendency is to think that, I have to be busy all the time. Otherwise, that's
a bad problem that I used to have.
Yeah.
So that's why I said like we typically both finish work at like for me, I know for Scott it's not as much of a hard cap, but for me, like I finish work at 5 typically. 5:30, I'm done. I clock out. It's like I treat it like a job. Like I literally clock out, I walk out of my office, close my door, I'm done.
That's good. It actually it's routine. So, and us humans, we love routines. That's why the 9 to 5 exists. So yeah. That's very good. I like you two's work ethic, and I was really impressed when Scott showed me the posting timetable, because I need to really organize the way I do things, if I'm going to take this more seriously, then I need to like get a posting schedule done. I need to like figure out the mini media marketing that Scott does on the download. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about I think it comes a lot from when I was doing comic books, because for a while I was just doing like drawing other people's comics. That was how I made money. That's how I ate. I didn't like it a lot. I don't. That's the reason I don't do it anymore.
Rating that.
I spent a lot of time, and I think that just like, I mean, there was a time in my life where I was when that time you mentioned we were working like 7 days a week, where I was doing like at least, I think I was working on 6 different comic books at the same time.
Whoa.
And because when you're working on indie books, especially, they don't like, some people don't have the budget to just like, if you crank out 15 pages in a week, they can't pay you for 15 pages in a week. So you have to take on multiple jobs. So you're just like, keep working and switching in between projects. And it sucks. It is no fun at all. At least to me, it wasn't.
There was a time you were drawing, 30 pages a month?
Jesus.
I think there was a time I penciled like 30 or 40 pages in a week.
Where in the world did you get the energy? Well, then again, you needed it to eat, so
yeah, that's the greatest motivator ever, right? It's like, oh, I need to survive.
And back then, there were times where Scott was working for very, very little money per page.
Yeah, I went to I actually tried to get a real job once. Because it was before I ever got my first comic gig, and I got it was like at a hotel, and I was a receptionist, and I've told this story on stream, so I'll kind of breeze through it. But like, basically, the dude that was my boss there, about a week after I left, he got arrested for human trafficking.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yeah,
that escalated quickly. What the fuck?
So it was pretty weird, and I was like, God, I don't want to work a real job. I want to draw.
Can I switch to your screen, Scott?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. It was dodgy there for a little bit.
We're fine. I covered it.
Somebody asked a question that I think is very interesting, which says, would you say that you encourage others to adapt this kind of work ethic, even if they don't need it? Now, first of all, I will say the work ethic I was talking about before, where the 7 days a week, or like I would never encourage anyone to do that.
Yeah,
that was not good. That we actively. I will say that it helped me get to where I'm at, but I would not say I advise anyone to do that.
Especially if you don't need it, you can take bits here and there, like having a schedule and whatnot, having set times, because that actually helps with productivity and motivation. But like actually going balls to the wall, 6 to 9 p.m. kind of thing, no.
What I always say about work ethic,
life is at stake,
and about like productivity and scheduling and stuff is, we all are different. Like everyone has different amounts they can handle. Everyone has different things. For example, Scott can work more than I can, and it's just like, it's a fact at this point. You got to accept. You can't. So don't compare how much you work to how much other people work, but set goals for yourself and set goals that you want to reach and work towards them relentlessly. And work towards them at a pace that you will know you are at a good pace where you are working and you're able to do like your 5 to your however long you want to work, and you're not feeling tired every day, because you don't want to burn yourself out. There are periods where you'll work harder. Obviously, it has to be a flexible thing, but I would always say find whatever your work ethic is, like whatever how much your stamina is, and if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. Then just do that and keep doing it. If you're not, you can grow stamina. Just slowly extend yourself more and more, and just be smart about it. I would say about the work ethic question specifically, the harder you work, the faster you will succeed, and that is just a fact. Even if it's like the to reach certain goals, if you want to reach things quicker, you just have to work harder. I mean, that is just how it goes. That doesn't mean you should. That doesn't mean you have to go crazy balls to the wall and do this, but you have to be reasonable about the goals you're setting and how you can meet them.
You really do have to push yourself at certain points. Of course, there will be time periods where, I need to work hard and I need to push myself harder in some areas. But It's just being aware of when to do that, and that typically comes with trial and error. So
that's definitely true.
I said so. After burning out a couple of times, you get a good sense of your limits and then how to slowly push them.
Yeah, as to that point, at this point, I'm so in tune with what burnout feels like and when it's approaching that I essentially I can feel like I might feel like, okay, this week I feel like I've gone too far, and I'll pull back a little bit and I'll say like, okay, the next couple weeks I'm going to slow down. I won't work quite as much. And then I'll do that for like a couple weeks and I'll feel good. And then I'll go back and like for the next couple weeks after that, I'll start ramping back up and just keep pushing myself to that limit of like, okay, this is almost more than I can take. And then before it gets too much, then you pull back and you sort of recover a little bit.
Yeah, that way you always have enough energy / motivation for future stuff.
Because the one thing you don't want to do is make yourself hate it. Although, I mean, there's times you will, when you're struggling.
Yeah. Eventually,
I don't think
it will start to feel like a job at points.
Yeah. And that's why I part of the reason I tell people, like, don't do this unless it's just something you feel like you have to do, because it's gonna feel like any other job at points.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you won't like it, then if you're just gonna like want to quit at that point, then you'd probably be better off doing something else, because you can make a lot more money doing things other than art.
And a good thing is also, or like another thing to add on to that is that you're gonna have days where you wake up and you don't want to work. You're gonna have, with anything, you're gonna have days where you wake up and you go, man, I really don't want to draw today, and you set your own schedule and you have to work. Like, you have to. It's like a job. You have to eat, so you have to work. You have to do it every day. It just because it's like, and again, this is talking if you're talking about wanting to do it as a job. If you're a hobbyist, do whatever you want. Like, if you just want to do it as a hobby, you can work. You can do whatever pace you want. But if you're like, I want to make a living off of this, you have to be able to trust yourself to work like a job. To get, there are days where I wake up and I'm sick and I work. I have to. You know what I mean? It's not like you have to be able to trust yourself. Okay, I'm gonna take today off. Okay, I'm not. You have to be able to trust yourself to treat it like a job. That's a very important thing.
While also being aware of your limits. So.
Yeah. It's. I think you put it best when you said it is through trial and error. It's a deadly balancing act until you figure it out. Once you figure it out, it gets a lot easier.
Yes.
But you only figure it out, kind of, if I'm just being honest, through failing. Yeah. Through struggling. Because you don't know what you're only guessing what your limit is until you've reached it. You don't have any firm idea. And the important thing is that limit can expand over time. And also can detract. It's all about what's going on with your life, where you're at, everything. There are many factors that affect your work ethic, and all of them are you. It all goes back to you and what is happening with you personally and everything like that. So that's why it's very person to person. It's all just about figuring yourself out.
Yeah.
We're probably about to wrap up soon. If there's anything else you guys wanted to touch on.
I didn't have any more specific questions.
Moment. Oh, I have one. Mm-hmm. God, do you do commissions?
No, I don't.
Damn. I guess I'll get you over another day.
I don't, because I did them for so long, and I just I didn't.
Flashbacks.
Yeah, and now I feel bad because I do kind of want to, because a lot of people do them. So I would like to be able to give and be like, yeah, here's some missions and stuff.
Yeah, but you'll probably get swamped very quickly.
That's the thing. Like, I'd get swamped, and to make it worth my time, I'd have to price it pretty high.
Yeah.
And I feel like at that point, it's not really getting to the people that want them. It just seems.
We have a few questions from chat if you want to just roll through those before we go off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scrub asked both of you what got you interested in doing NSFW art.
Horny. in the most brutally honest terms, just that. Sometimes you just want to draw something super degenerate, and you feel like, fine, I'll do it myself. Kind of thing.
I feel like any artist that says that they don't at least draw NSFW sometimes is
I wouldn't say lying because there are some that don't for real, but or at least some that I hope that they're, or I think they're telling the truth. But okay, even then, I guess occasionally the curiosity, even regardless of what you want to use it for, the curiosity is still there. Because at least I know that's what got me initially into it, or at least that's what made me sign up for life drawing classes.
Yeah, why do I still do it so often? Money.
Yeah, money. Mm-hmm. It is a very lucrative business. Although
cold,
on that
hard
note,
cash.
Did you guys ever see that there's a weird trend on Twitter where some artists will draw or a small artist does this, gets one big artist draws titties and gets something else. It was supposed to be just like a diss on NSFW, art that, oh yeah, it's a cheap way to get numbers and shit. But I really don't think that's the case. Because otherwise, why would there be I don't know, plenty of smaller artists who are still struggling with NSFW and SFW artists who are getting tons of numbers otherwise. So
they're coping.
There is this thing where people act like NSFW is a key to a secret money-making world.
No,
where it's
not.
You draw a breast and all of a sudden you're making thousands of dollars a month.
But now furry porn.
Now furry porn is a cheat code.
That's different. That's the go-to key because half the people who indulge in it are STEM field doctors.
Also, Fly asked what character you're drawing.
Oh, she's an OC. Her name's Eva. She's a bad guy, but I'm drawing a what if version where she's a good guy. Basic ass summary, but yeah.
Then we have one more question before we go. Bryce, can you give us a small explanation of the base idea of the Panty Bear? The Panty Bear is about a girl who uses a plushie and the power of panties to defeat evil plushies. There you go. Go read our comic. And that girl's Lucia, so if you like Lucia...
Was this inspired by Kill La Kill by any chance?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, this stylistically, but not story-wise very much. How old is Lucia? 18. She does not age as the years go on.
But Bryce, we made her a few years ago.
She is 18.
So
she's stuck as 18. That's what she is forever. She's never gonna age. She's a fictional character.
Technically, is she a magical girl?
She uses the magical panties.
Okay, so she is a magical girl.
In a way.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. She herself can't do magic, but she can use the panties.
Okay.
Okay, so are we good to wrap up? We got anything else?
I am.
I hope
Thank you guys for having me.
It was very fun.
No problem.
Yeah.
You're the goat.
Had a good time.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, okay, we'll be back tomorrow at 6, right, Scott? 6? Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow.
What do you mean?
Oh, shit.
Wait,
Happy
what do you mean?
Birthday in advance.
At 5? Really?
Yeah, 5, yeah.
Didn't we used to do 6? I thought we used to do 6. Are you sure?
No.
Guys, did we used to do 6 or 5?
We used to do 5.
Really?
What are you talking about?
That's true?
Has it been that long that you guys have forgotten?
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Everyone's agreeing with you. Okay, well, anyway, it's my birthday tomorrow.
I know they're agreeing with me.
So that'll be fun. And yeah, okay, I guess that's it. You got someone to rate, Scott?
Yep, got it already.
Ingo said we've done both.
Well, anyways, thanks again, ThiccWithaQ, Billy, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was a super fun time. We'll have to do it again someday.
Hey.
Okay, yeah, Scott's gonna... Oh, I'm sorry. You go?
I was gonna say hopefully your taste in movies has improved by then, but we'll
do a Batman React stream for the next one.
Oh god, that'll be fun.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna raid. Be nice to who we raid. Send them thumbs in chat, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.